Hey guys, Will with Just Add Water. Wanted to showcase some of the new patio bowl options that we have available. So we've always had patio bowls. They are exactly what they sound like. This one is a 32-inch bowl that you put on your patio, put inside the corner of your house, something like that, so you're never too far away from a water feature. So they're great options where now we have the ability to add much cooler, smaller fountain pieces like this small stack slate urn in here. But really what they've done is the old ones used to have a kind of preformed shelf in there, so we were really limited by options. Now we have these shelves that we can do all the way around, or we can just do one or two, so you can have more surface area of water in there, you know, get some tiny little goldfish or whatever you want to bring however you want this bowl to be into your space. So with this, you know, we're gonna put a couple of these in there to give us a nice base for this. Also allows us easy access to plumb for our fountain piece. Great spot to be able to put the pump, everything right underneath here and save space. The other thing that we're gonna do is they now have mountable planting pots that we can build right into the side of these bowls so we can get some color in there and it's not just all water. So let's unbox this and check it out. So these bowls come in a variety of different colors. We went with this lunar gray color. Kind of should really pop against, you know, if we wanted to leave it in here, it blends in, but for other things it will pop. So they do look much different in comparison to the old ones. Same thing so far. It has this little cord spout thing in there. So as you're building this, if you're doing this DIY, keep that in mind. Maybe put that, if you're gonna get some height, put that in the back so you're able to kind of hide that and have easy access to it. You do not have to put a pump in there if you don't want. You can have this just with floating plants, you know, maybe use it as a lotus pot, a lily pot, whatever you want. You can see it has the depth in there for it. So really, totally customizable. So for us, we are going to do this mini stack slate urn in here. Again, this is one of Aquascape's newer products. The stack slate urns have been around for a long time, but they keep getting different sizes for us. So this should mix really well. And with that lunar gray color on there, this thing will stick out nicely for it. So these are the two things we're gonna do. We're gonna plant it up, maybe drop a couple little fishes in there and make her nice and pretty. These are planters, and this is that shelf that we were talking about. You can see I have this cord thing in the back. Down in here, there's kind of a ridge in here for this part to sit snugly on, and then as you can see, it's kind of tapered back. So everything should fit nicely in there, and we can position this urn wherever we want on this shelf. So this is the rough mock-up of how we want this, but also, what's a body of water without rocks? Nothing I'm into. So we're gonna go like this, get both of those down in there, and now I can off-center this just a little bit. I'm lining this up above one of the holes so plumbing is super easy. So we'll go like this, and that way I can kind of have some rocks out in here to kind of break up surface tension across there as well. Then we will be able to come in with planters however we want and get some shorter, low-growing ones. We'll fill this up with some of our aquatic potting soil, get it right in there, and then we'll be able to plant this up. So you can see this is one of the older makes, models, whatever you want to call it, of the spillway bowl. The main difference, really the only difference in this, is what they've done to the interior. We can actually cut this out, add it to the side of the stream, but we can actually add some biological filtration with that. So with these racks in here, if we were to add them, so it created a full shelf in there, now we can add some filter pads, some bio balls, still load up with plants, and kind of think of it as like a tiny little wetland that we can add right on there. We just cut a slit in here so you get a nice weir, maybe 3, 5, a dozen, however you want it, and then we can just put this right into the side of your feature. I'm gonna work on plumbing this urn first so that I can kind of move that stuff around. It's obviously the biggest thing that I'm gonna put in here. So I have my small ultra pump in here that really I should just need to be able to use the tubing that comes with the kit itself. And then I'm going to use this fitting that comes with the pump, just so then that way I have this ball valve on there and I'll be able to control all of the flow rate the way I want it. Perfect little DIY setup where you don't really need to have, you know, a great big background in how to plumb anything. There's no glue or anything like that that you're gonna have to deal with. So I'm gonna feed this one through. Since we're doing the 2 shelves, I'm gonna actually put my pump in on this one, since this urn isn't really gonna sit on this shelf at all. Just to make it so if I do need to access the pump for any reason, it's gonna be a little bit easier. Now, our bowl we plan on keeping inside, so I'm not gonna get any sort of debris, just, you know, if I do a bad job maintaining my plants. So that should make it pretty easy for me. Again, I've kind of been planning for this, setting everything up back in there so that my cord will run out that hidden by everything that I'm doing. Okay, so now you can kind of see how that's gonna sit in there and everything. So I will cut to fit my plumbing line length. So with this, make sure that if, you know, we're here where we're feeding through both of them, you kind of have to hold this up while you get everything set in there, and then you can get the shelf back in there and kind of reach in and reposition things the way you want it. Now, pro tip for when you're doing this, so for us, we are going to put this at a different spot. So be aware of, you know, if you're gonna add rocks like we are, something like that, you should put this in the final location. Rocks can get heavy, all of that kind of stuff, especially once you add water. Do not add water until it's in that final location to fill it up. But you can see here we've got our cord coming out through here. It's a little stiff right now just because we just pulled it out of the box, but it'll simmer down at some point, and then we will end up hiding that with plants or boulders or something else. All right, we've got water in, we've got our planting area installed, so now it's just time to add plants. Make this pretty, give it some color, really make it pop.
All right, and we have our patio bowl all planted up. I used a fun mixture of indoor houseplants that you see pretty commonly in nurseries and greenhouses in our area, and had a lot of fun mixing heights and textures, color palettes. I used a painter's palette in a few different places for a fun splash of red against the green and white. And then in the back, I tried to use taller, more full plants to create height and dimension, and used a few runner plants that will drape over our edge to naturalize the corner as they grow. These are really fun because you can use one of these bowls in a corner office, in your house, on your patio. It's really small and self-contained. There are holes in the bottom of our planting troughs that let water in, so you never have to worry about watering it. And you can really do any type of plants in here you like. If there are perennials that are native to your area that you would enjoy, tropicals for the summer, or like I have here, houseplants that thrive indoors, anything is really a great option, and there's a lot of fun things you can do with one of these. Bye.